Hi everyone, it's Sam, NFTstatistics, and this is your Proof Daily NFT Countdown. Today's show is going to have a little bit of a different look and feel because our editing team is all working on Grails. So one of our chief producers is going to make kind of a bare bones cut of the show. So it's going to feel a little bit different. And the other news, and this is bad news, and I hate to say this, is that we cannot do the show for the rest of the week. That is because our editing and our production team is all tied up with Grails, which is just a monster production. You will see that at the end of the week, just how much all that work pays off with the quality of what they put together, but it's kind of pulled the resources away from the daily show. I hate to say it, you know me, I want to do the show every day, but that's just the matter of fact when you have limited resources and a lot of stuff you want to put together. Not going to lie, you can probably hear it in my voice. I've been sick all weekend. So sorry, the voice is a little weird, but a lot happened over the weekend. We're going to dive into it. One thing we're going to talk about is HanWe.eth, who managed to kind of win over or trick someone into giving him 800 ETH. We'll dive into that. A bunch of art sales that happened, and also SnowFro with these velocity passes recently just completely catching fire. But let's start off with a quick market overview. Volumes were down pretty bad. Sunday was really one of the worst days for volume that we've had in well over a year. But the weekend was, again, the slowest weekend that we've had. And I talked about this last Monday. Last weekend was the slowest weekend we had in a year and a half. Well, we're slower this weekend than last weekend. So volume's down pretty bad. Volume, only 62% market share with Blur. I think we did see a little bit of the farming compress. So a little bit more market share went to OpenSea. Unique buyers were up. All right, we've had a nice little uptrend here for unique NFT buyers on ETH exchanges. I wanted to see, what are these buyers buying? Are these like real buyers we should be excited about? And who knows? You can see here the different projects, which had the most buyers: Dorks, Friends, Himalaya, Punks 2023, ENS, Base Introduced. So I don't know. These aren't like the projects that are catching the most headlines, but whatever. We'll take it. Large cap index up a small bit, again, really driven by Miladies. Punks were up a little bit on Larva Labs, which is where I grabbed these prices. Doodle's up a little bit. On the weak side, just a small bit of weakness in World of Women. Not a whole lot, really moved that much over the weekend. Mid cap index basically flat. Some strength in Prado and Sprado Gremlins. Again, Sprado Gremlins, similar buyer base to Miladies and Remelios. So, not too surprising to see them go up in tandem. VV Check, Psychedelics, Anonymous, a little bit weak. One thing I wanted to show on the project front, Jack Butcher tweeting a pudgy penguin with some of those Opepin glasses. We don't have a lot of commentary idea of what this was, but always interesting to see that. Also, Little Lemon Friends. I think this is the first time I've talked about Little Lemon Friends on this show. You can see this is the price chart basically year to date, and it's kind of in that 0.02 ETH range pretty permanently, which basically means there's almost no activity. Well, it pumped to 0.07 ETH today. Nice looking chart, but if you look at the full chart here, it's not quite as nice of a chart. Got all the way up to about 1 ETH back in the day. Why did it pump today from 0.01 to 0.08? They announced that they have signed a contract where they have completed an acquisition. It'll be completed in 4 weeks or less. So the IP being handed over to someone. It'll be interesting to see what happens here. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to holders. Nice little pump you got there. In terms of art projects, not a ton of volume over the weekend, though there were a handful of rib sales and fuzzy sales and chromey squiggles. Let's look a little bit deeper. This was the most expensive squiggle sale over the weekend. Really cool looking one, really active one, 15.2 ETH for that ribbed. A 32 WETH ringers sale, an archetype sold for 8.2 ETH. This was the lowest archetype sale in about 16 months. Nice looking one though. I like those colors. And then a Life in West America sold for 4.1 WETH. This project has not had a lot of volume. This was one of the first trades in about 3 weeks. Second thing to talk about, HanWe Earns, trick someone, not sure the verb I should use there, but gets 800 ETH, $1.5 million. Let's dig a little bit into what happened here. Here is the chart from Blur, and what you should see is that all these Azukis were sold by HanWe to 2 different wallets for 50 ETH each. Okay. Now, one other thing I circled here that you should notice is that you can see from these images, all have that off-white background. Okay. Now, why are both of those relevant? If you look at where Azukis had been selling, these things are worth about 4.9 ETH. So on each sale, HanWe made about 45 and change ETH from each one, where you could buy for 4.9 ETH and sell for 50 ETH. Okay. Now, what exactly happened here? Okay, one thing to know is that HanWe is the biggest bid farmer on Blur right now. you can look at these bid points here, and HanWe is making 14,000 per day, and second most is 4,000. So HanWe is completely just blowing everyone out of the water. How is he doing it? It's by putting in a lot of trait bids. Blur told us recently that they're going to reward trait bids just as much as overall collection bids. So HanWe has built a bot where he's putting in bids pretty much across all the different traits and ones that don't get him into too much trouble. Now, what a lot of farmers realize is if someone's making a lot of points, all they have to do is imitate those farmers and they will make points too. So you had a couple of bots, a couple of farmers that created bots that said, whatever HanWe does, we'll bid 0.01 ETH higher. When HanWe learned this, he decided that he can keep bidding as high as he wants, and these bots will follow him. So he put in these fake bids or real bids around 50 ETH. They followed him. He took a bunch of NFTs he owned and he dumped them into those bidders. Now, there was a little bit of risk here. Like if someone who had an off-white background NFT, Azuki, was following it, they could have sold into HanWe's bid before he dumped in everyone else. So perhaps he took a very small bit of risk. The thing is, there aren't that many people following it that closely. And he took that gamble and he ended up paying off, made around $1.5 million. He did this on elementals as well. Very interesting kind of player versus player action that we see increasingly on Blur. We've actually seen this a couple of times. HanWe's done it a couple of times when bots chase him. I've seen a couple other players do it on other smaller projects, but we've never seen it really done at this scale. So who knows? Tyler, a good friend of mine over at Lucky Trader, has been saying that there is potential risk, just kind of the legal ramifications of bid spoofing, which is illegal. I don't know where that line actually gets drawn between what's bid spoofing, what's a real bid, because he did put a little bit of risk in. I really don't know the legal side of it. I would say I think that people don't have a ton of sympathy for people who create bots that do bidding on Blur. It's not the most sympathetic audience, but interesting to see that. Here you can see this off-white A background color. The bids are 4.31 ETH. Okay, that's where they should be. Okay, so to see the fact that we had them at 50 ETH really kind of shows just how wild this was. Here is HanWe, kind of taking a little bit of a victory lap. Notice someone's bot was copying my bid, so I decided to trick him, made 800 ETH profit. Thanks. And then here, the victim of this trick came out and said, we'd like to discuss a bounty with you. We'll offer a 10% bounty of any funds stolen from our bot, which are yours to keep if you return the remaining 90%. We'll see if there are any other steps in this. Never fun to see someone lose so much money, but that is the player versus player world we live in. Third thing to talk about, SnowFro is added to the Redbull Velocity Pass list. Let's dive in a little bit here. Redbull Velocity, here is Oracle Red Bull Racing from their main Twitter account. This isn't some separate account for NFTs. This is for the main Twitter account. They are saying that they're adding Ordinal blockchain SnowFro to the list of 4 artists that are going to be part of their Velocity series. Here is Eric Calderon, SnowFro, saying how excited he is kind of to get the consumer exposure you get via F1 team. Also says that he and his wife have long been fans of Red Bull. So cool to see all that. I dove in a little bit to what is this Velocity series. You can see mint your pass here for 0.3 ETH. Well, they already minted out when SnowFro came on board. They minted them out, all 1,000 of them. Let's dive a little bit into it. They say Red Bull Racing is no stranger to art. Our cars are often used as the canvas. Thought that was kind of an interesting way of putting it. The series has 4 releases coinciding with the Dutch, Japan, United States, and Abu Dhabi races, which are coming up. We know about that Dutch one because the Renga drop also had the Netherlands on it, which I believe it's August 25th to 27th. So there are 4 artists for 4 races. Each release includes open editions as well as limited edition NFTs. Those limited editions are only for Velocity Pass holders, but you don't automatically get one if you're a pass holder. You are then eligible for the Dutch auction. Most of them have either 200 or 500 NFTs that will be in the series. So by owning this pass, you don't automatically get the NFTs. You automatically get the open editions, but for the limited edition ones, you still have to win the Dutch auction. Now let's have a look at who the other artists who are in this project are. Rick Ostenbrook, Per Kristen Stoflin, the artist, of course, behind The Harvest, and then Eric SnowFro as well. So very cool stuff. Congrats to the artists. Congrats to holders. Why congrats to holders? Because anyone who minted this thing for 0.3 ETH, the price got all the way up to 1.2 ETH. Right now, the median price today has been 0.9 ETH. So a nice 3-bagger for anyone over the past week who got in. They just minted out, when SnowFro came on board. So congrats to everyone involved there. Curious to see how that plays out. And then lastly, let's talk about a few notable sales. I'm going to mainly focus on a couple PFPs. Ordinal Maxi Biz. I've talked about Ordinal Maxi Biz. Biz in the past about this project, one of the highest profile, kind of most momentum projects on Ordinals. Had 2 sales of these blue eye NFTs for 1.15 and 1.12 Bitcoin. That's around 18 ETH. Now those prices are a little bit low relative to where the blue eyes have been selling. You know, it's not super liquid. There aren't that many with the blue eyes, but the most recent sales that we've seen have been around 1.6, 1.7 ETH a few weeks ago. So seeing a little bit of price compression there, but 18 ETH, nothing to scoff at. And in these markets, in terms of one-on-ones, this piece, Neural Studies Hibernation Mode by Mario Klingemann, sold for 12 ETH. The buyer was Karate Kid. A little bit about this, the description: combining found imagery with my neural transenhancement process using a model trained by Hieronymus Bosch's work. Lots of big words there. I'm going to trust that it's awesome. I think the art looks really cool. If you look at the other sales kind of in this series, they've gone for 17, 15, 12, 11 ETH. So, 12 ETH is really just a nice sale for this market where one-of-one's prices have generally been going lower, really kind of hanging in there with the price. This piece, Lux number 2 by Ben Strauss, 6.69 ETH. Very cool. And what's cool about Ben Strauss, what he's doing right now, is all these works are made entirely with the camera. At least that's what he said after Lux number 1. Here he is. He's saying Lux is the genesis chapter of my pursuit of equilibrium body of work. Nothing you see here is generated by the computer. So I assume he's saying like this is all camera made. On the description of this piece, he said, the story continues with the Blackburn pendulum represents more complex yet elegant designs that exist at the core of the fundamental code. If you look at the other sales, this one in the top right is the last one in this Lux series, which sold for 8.7 ETH. And then Ben Strauss, of course, is a fantastic photographer and has had some great sales of his photography NFTs. So congrats there. And then lastly, I want to talk about this piece called Rolls by Dave Krugman. There are 10 NFTs. There have been 2 sales so far. Actually 3. A third one just happened, but 5.2 ETH, 3.2, and then the third sold for 3.3 ETH. This NFT is actually a video. I'm going to read for you what Dave says. He says, I'm Dave Krugman, and this is my project Rolls. The way this project is going to work is this metadata is going to get updated with 1 of 10 film scans off this one roll of film. The catch is I haven't shot it yet. So I'm asking you to trust me to go out and make something beautiful. So the 10 shots you take are going to go into the 10 NFTs and you're pre-buying them. Interesting stuff from Dave. Congratulations that he's already made over 12 ETH of sales. The bid on the 4th is over 2 ETH. So congrats to Dave. Always innovating, thinking of new ways to kind of, just bring different angles to this market. Love to see it. That is all for me today. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, give us a like below. Tell us what you think in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. Sign up for a Telegram group. All that stuff. And we'll be back tomorrow and just about every weekday with another show. Have a great day.